2, 3, listen.
Welcome to the Brian for Mayor Digital Battle Bus. Welcome to Battle Bus Live. I am Brian Rosen. We are live here at the Brian for Mayor Digital Battle Bus. We are now touring the boroughs of Southwark and Lewisham, and I'm super excited to get your comments. So please stop right now wherever you're watching me and leave me a comment below and tell me what borough are you in and what's the challenge that you're facing, and also what question would you like to ask me. I really want to hear from you today. I've had an incredible day here in Southwark. We went by the Oval, which is the cricket ground that London is known for. And if you don't know much about cricket, I was actually there about 15 years ago watching my first cricket match. It's an incredible place, an incredible vibe, and it's great going through this borough here. I just went by the London Eye, and now we're going into Lewisham. And again, the reason I'm here on the ground is because every borough of London faces its unique challenges, and I need to be on the ground and see what's happening. I'm going by a bunch of stores right now. I see B&Q over there. I think we're going right on into Lewisham, and I want to hear from you today. As you know, we've been going through every borough in London, and we're going to go through all 32 very shortly. Today, I want to talk about something that's on all of Londoners' minds. It's something that people come up and talk to me all the time when they see me. They say this. They say, Brian, obviously, our transport system is a failure. And it's very hard to argue with them because it is a failure. Your mayor has raised and extended your congestion charges. He's increased your transport fares. He's ruined our city with his failed streetscape scheme and his low traffic neighborhoods. He's also nearly bankrupted TfL not once, but twice. He's wasted hundreds of millions of pounds of your money on six-figure bonuses, on first-class travel, and on these luxury coffee machines. I believe this is unacceptable, and I think we have to send him a message now and say, Mr. Mayor, we deserve better as Londoners, because the problem is our mayor right now is completely out of touch with the citizens. He's there on his top floor office in the glass building making policies, but he's not out here on the ground like I am, trying to find out what the challenges are of real people in real neighborhoods and trying to solve those problems, and that's why I'm here now. And again, I just want to say, for the record, somebody right here on this live broadcast asked me yesterday, they said, Brian, will you debate Sadiq Khan? And I said quite quickly, yes, I will. So I ask you this right now, Mr. Mayor, and I hear he's watching these broadcasts. Sadiq Khan, when will you debate me? Tell me the time and we'll make it happen. I've been putting out a lot of facts and figures about your failures when it comes to Transport of London, about your failures on knife crime, your failures on the economy, your failures to build affordable housing. If you think I'm wrong, if I've got something wrong, let's meet, let's have a debate, let's put the facts out there, and let's let the people decide. That's what a democracy is, and we are moving forward to try to get all the information to the people. And I am a new kind of leader. I want to have a real transparent dialogue via these social media platforms. Luckily, I've been doing this for 10 years, and I've got 5 million followers, 500 million views, and I'm very good at talking with people and getting your feedback. So today, I'll be reading out your comments live wherever you're watching me now. Leave me a comment below and tell me, what borough are you in? What's the challenge you're facing? And what question do you want to ask me? And again, let's make this debate happen. If you want to see me debate the current mayor of London, tell your friends, put it on social media, go to the mayor's social media feeds and tell him, why aren't you debating Brian Rose? Do you have something to hide? Do you think his facts and figures are wrong? Tell us, why will you not debate him? I am the only other candidate who can beat Sadiq Khan, and we plan on doing that on May 6th. As you know, a few days ago, we were in the borough of Southwark. We were on our digital campaign, and I was walking in the middle of the street, actually, with an umbrella in one hand and my mobile phone in the other hand, making a vlog, a video, talking to you, and I was suddenly surrounded by 10 City of London police officers that came in 5 police vans. They stopped me, they detained me, they fined me and my crew, and they banned us from campaigning, which put a big red signal. And I said to the police officer, I said, this sounds very political. And that created a big row. He said very sternly, this is not political. And I thought, well, it seems as if the mayor doesn't want me out there campaigning. And so that's what happened. A couple days later, our bus was out on the roads. The Metropolitan Police pulled us over. So it was a coordinated attack, which is why I sent this 5-page letter, which I've posted on social media that many, many of you have read. I've sent it to Commissioner Ian Dyson of the City of London Police, Dame Sadiq of the Metropolitan Police, and of course, Chief Constable Paul Crowder. They have all replied to me via email and said they have received it and they are reviewing it. We are following the letter of the law as we speak, campaigning in a complete, safe way, respecting the lockdown, respecting everything in a COVID secure way. But we are out there on the road because I believe in democracy. I believe in free and fair elections. And how can you choose a candidate if you don't know who they are or what they stand for? Otherwise, if you have no choice, you get 3 more years of what the current mayor has done. And I don't think any of us want that. So I believe we need to get out there and campaign. I encourage all other parties to campaign as well. And that means the Liberal Democrats, the Green parties, Labor and Conservatives as well. Let's get out there and campaign. This here is a digital battle bus. It's completely 100% COVID secure. It has an antiviral fog gone through the entire unit every single night. Everyone is temperature checked when they come in, social distancing, hand sanitizers. Everything here is by the book, the same protocols that are being used right now in London to film productions for video and for movies right now in the city. So we are respecting the law, but we are moving forward regardless. We could be stopped at any moment now and pulled over by police and arrested. We are prepared to do that, but the message is more important than that. So we're taking this risk. We see a lot more police vans than I used to, is what I'd say. But I'll keep you posted on what happens there. So let's talk about today, and let's talk about what's going on. Before that, I want to hear from you. So first of all, tell me, what borough do you live in? And what question would you like to ask me? Next, tell me what you think about the transportation system. Do you think the mayor should have raised and increased your congestion charges? Do you think that he should have raised your fares? Do you think that also, at the same time, he should be taking TfL near bankruptcy twice, while also paying these 6-figure bonuses and approving first-class travel and luxury coffee machines? Tell me, do you think he should be doing that? Next, do you think it was right for the police to detain us, fine us, and ban us from campaigning, and is this politically motivated? Do you think that free and fair elections should be allowed to take place on May 6th? And finally, do you think we need new leadership, new ideas, and to take London in a new direction? Right now, I want to talk to you about 3 things. The first is, I want to talk about the state of our transportation system. The second thing I want to talk about is how your congestion charges have been raised and extended, and it goes very far. The streetscape schemes, there's a lot of real problems here. And finally, I want to talk about how the current mayor of London is wasting your taxpayer money, your hard-earned pounds, in order to try to run this city, but he's wasting them, and I want to get into those details. So first of all, what is the state of the transportation system? Well, we all know it's pretty poor, and it's been poor for the past 5 years on the current mayor's watch, because the current mayor of London, when it comes to transportation, has failed us. And let's look into why. The transportation system is bankrupt. Our fares are now the highest in Europe. The congestion charges have risen by 44%, and our debt levels are now at nightmare proportions. 2021, this year, could see Transport for London owing £18 billion. You heard me right, £18 billion. And for us 9 million Londoners, that's a total repayment cost of £2,000 each for every man, woman, and child. Think about that. £2,000. Do you have that to spare? Very few of us do. For a family of 5, that's a £10,000 bill. And let me be clear, this wasn't because of the COVID crisis. The TfL was going bankrupt long before the pandemic hit. And without strong transportation, the London economy, it's just never going to recover. Now, your mayor, Sadiq Khan, promised to freeze transport fares when he was elected. He promised to make the TfL operate more efficiently. He promised that Londoners, quote, wouldn't pay a penny more for travel. But just 4 weeks after he was elected, he broke all of those promises. He raised and extended congestion charges, and that especially affects with the new ULEZ zone boroughs like Hammersmith and Fulham, Hackney, Haringey, Barnet, Ealing, Hounslow, Lambeth, and Southwark, where we are now, and Lewisham as well. He raised fares for children and the elderly, and he's been accused of wasting tens of millions of pounds on luxury travel, taxis, water coolers, vending machines. And what does he do? All he does is blame the government. and simultaneously ask for more bailouts. And he's going to be asking for another one in literally a matter of months. So that is the state of the transportation system. I want to go to your questions now and tell me, first of all, what borough are you in? What question do you have? Do you think the mayor should have ruined our transport system like that? Do you think it was right for them to detain us as the police and stop us from campaigning? And finally, do we need new leadership? So I'm going to your questions now. And again, I really appreciate them. A lot of them coming through here via our website and also via social media. I've got somebody here from Barking via the website says, quote, "I love your work. I'm a firefighter in Barking, but I'm currently driving an ambulance for the London Ambulance Service to help out during these difficult times, and I appreciate that." He goes on to say, "I'm working out of Ilford Ambulance Depot at the moment, so I'll be around Redbridge and Havering over the weekend. I'd love to come and meet you if you're around. Please let me know." Great, I appreciate your comment. We were actually in Redbridge yesterday and Havering as well, but we're going to be doing loops around this city, so I'm going to post the schedule and hopefully we can see you as well. Another comment here. It continues. "I would like to know what you do to plan for the London Fire Brigade, because at the moment we are staring down the barrel of 70 million pounds worth of cuts, which can only mean fire stations being closed, which will lead to increased response times and more fire deaths." I appreciate your comment. And the tragedy is this. The London mayor just recently cut the fire brigade budget by an additional 25 million pounds. In addition to defunding the police by 110 million pounds, this is not the thing to do when we're facing record knife crime levels, when we know the deficiencies we have in the fire brigades and some of the atrocious things that have happened in this city. That's the problem. The current mayor, all he knows is, I'm going to raise your taxes, raise your congestion charges, and raise your fares. He hasn't thought about a creative way of raising money for this city. I have solutions for that. These are all detailed on my brianformayor.london page. Thank you for your comment. I've got Adam in Camden via the website that says, "Hi, Brian. I think we're neighbors. You're right. I live in the borough of Camden. You fully have my backing and support, brother. How will you invest in our London communities and families to build more resilience and unity within our communities?" It's a great question. Our communities are being completely ignored right now. Their community centers are being shut down. You've got kids out there on the streets, and no wonder a lot of times crime entails. And we've got to find a way to invest in these community centers, and my solution is to bring corporate investment directly to our community centers. There's precedent of this in Acton with Jamal Edwards of SBTV getting a £100,000 donation from Google. If I was mayor of London, or when I'm mayor of London, I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call the Amazons of the world. I'm going to call the Barclays of the world. I'm going to call the Googles of the world and say, guess what? You've done a lot of great business in London. It's time for you to give back. Let's make a deal. Let's talk about a win-win situation. That's what I do. For the past 30 years, I've cut deals. The problem with the current mayor is he's never run a business in his life, and he's a career politician. I don't think he understands these things. So I've got big plans for our communities, and I appreciate you as well. Instagram, I got Angus0 on Instagram. It says, "I just missed you at the Oval." Sorry, Angus, I saw a bunch of people coming by. I must have missed you as well. I've got Marie Noor on Instagram saying, "I'm proud of you." Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I got Turquoise Monarco on Instagram saying, "You rock, Brian. If I lived in London, you'd have my vote." Thank you. I appreciate it. I've got Ali Dawa on YouTube saying, "Whoa, you look cool, man." I mean, look, this is pretty cool what we got set up here. We got the digitally enabled bus. I'm coming live from you while we drive around the boroughs of London. It is cool. I want to thank Lewisham for having us. I want to thank Southwark for having us. I want to thank Redbridge and Havering for having us yesterday. We've been everywhere, and we're going everywhere. I've got Non-Complaint on YouTube says, "Good luck, Brian. The system is rigged against you. United we stand," and I agree. There's clearly something political going here. They want us to stop campaigning because our ideas are a threat. Our unity is a threat. We are so strong together. I just posted yesterday and talked about our new sharing page on the brianformayor.london website. It's brianformayor.london/share. You can get videos and photos and posters, and you can go share them on social media. You can print out the posters. The only way we're going to change is if we do this together. I need your help. You're right. We're going up against a two-party system with tens of millions of pounds in financing, hundreds of years of history, and we're going to have to do this together. So please help me share these videos. Come to our website, share these assets, and make sure you vote on May 6th. If you're not registered, go to votefirst.london. It'll take you 5 minutes. Get registered to vote in this city. A couple other comments, and I want to keep this moving. I got Lee Boyden on YouTube says, "I wish we had a candidate like you in Leicester." Thank you, Lee. I think these ideas will travel around the UK and the world as well. I've got Big Lurks on Instagram saying, quote, "Will you implement mental health into discussion of public health?" I already have. I've been talking about mental health for the past Well, 3 months, 6 months, honestly, for the past 10 years with my show London Real, mental health is crucial. Our government is ignoring it. I took a taxi home last night, Paul, a black cab operator, and he said, Brian, do you know how hard it is right now with what I do? I'm alone in a taxi all day. I do 1 or 2 fares. At home, I'm alone. He said, this is very difficult. And I said, Paul, I know how you feel. It's difficult for a lot of us. We've got no gyms. We've got no work. We've got no government plan. We've got to really talk about our mental health, and I will as well. I've got Joe Young 2020 on Instagram saying, you have my vote. Thank you, Joe. We got to make this happen May 6th. And I've got George Wild 17 on Instagram saying, quote, Sadiq Khan is already in for another bonus year. We need to get him out ASAP. We need someone like Brian who will invest in London's police and keep us safe. And George, you make a great point. The mayor has been unelected for a year. Unelected. Last time I checked, in a democracy, that should never happen because he postponed the elections. He shouldn't even be there making these decisions. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again. We've got to have free and fair elections May 6th. You've got to allow parties to campaign, and I encourage all parties to get out there right now and campaign and join me in finding a way to do this in a COVID-safe way, and that's what we're doing here. So again, keep these comments coming in. I'm going to come back to these as well, and I'm going to go on to our second point that I want to make today about our transportation infrastructure. And this is something that hits a lot of people, especially in the boroughs I'm in right now, and that is this plan of the mayor to now increase the size of the ULEZ zone, and that's the ultra low emission zones. He's increased it now to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and he's increased it by size, which now means it's a £12.50 daily charge for vehicles to go inside that zone. That means if you drive every day, you would need to pay £4,550 per year. That is a nightmare type of a cost. How can anyone afford to do that and run a business as well? And this ULEZ area is going to cover so many boroughs, including Camden, Islington, Haringey, Hackney, Wandsworth, Lambeth, Southwark, Lewisham, Greenwich, Redbridge, and Waltham Forest. Even Enfield, Newham will also be covered. This is going to hurt, and it hurts the lowest income families the worst. This kind of a fixed tax is the worst for low-income families, and it's the last thing we need when we're trying to get our economy kick-started. And that's why I propose a congestion charge and ULEZ charge holiday for 6 months so we can get business back. I also propose a business rates holiday for 6 months so we can get the economy kick-started again. But it wasn't just the ULEZ charges. The mayor has increased your congestion charge from £11.50 to £15 in the last 12 months. He's also changed it to where it's 24/7, weekends. Even at midnight, you pay this congestion charge. It's ridiculous, and it's hurting us all, and it's crushing our economy. But there was big news last week, and I was speaking to Paul last night, one of my taxi drivers, and I speak to taxi drivers every night. I take the tube every morning. I take a taxi home every night. I like to support and also check out these networks and see how they're running. But there was a big ruling by the High Court this week by Justice Lang, who ruled that this flagship street space scheme by the governor was rushed through without proper consultation, quote, taking advantage of the pandemic to close off roads to general traffic. And that was a real problem. And the judge concluded that the mayor had, quote, far exceeded what was reasonably required to meet the temporary challenges created by the pandemic. The cab industry and many people in the neighborhood said your streetscape scheme was created in an ivory tower or maybe in the top floor of a glass building. It was never thought about how it would affect the entrepreneurs on the ground, the taxi cab drivers that pick up disabled people in this city. It never asked them, and it prohibited them from driving on streets. It also prohibited neighborhoods from having a free flow of traffic. And I had Steve McNamara on my show, the chairman of the LTDA, one of the largest taxi driver unions here in London. And he complained about these things. He said, Brian, we can't travel where we need to. We can't pick up handicapped workers. Some of these bike lanes are prohibitive, but the mayor does these things when no one's watching, when we're all on lockdown. It's a travesty. And I aired his ideas, and we put them out there through all my channels, and a lot of people were talking about it, and I was so happy to see that they got a favorable court ruling, and the High Court saw what the mayor was trying to do. He said it's illegal, it's not acceptable, and it's going to hurt our businesses, and it's going to hurt our communities. So I just want to say I'm really happy for the taxi drivers. They got that ruling, and I want to say that these top-down politics don't work. We cannot have leaders that are not on the ground, that aren't listening to the people in the communities. They make these policies, they put out a press release, they tick off their box for looking green that day, and then they don't realize is that it costs jobs, it costs our economy, and sometimes it costs lives. And I have an entire Green First initiative. I am a big fan of promoting the environment, but I want to do it in a sensible way that doesn't crush our economy. And if you want to know more about my Green First initiatives, go to brianformayor.london. You can see my website and you can see what we have planned, but let's do it in an intelligent way. Let's not do it from the top of some glass office tower without even thinking about the ramifications. Let's do it by the data and by the numbers, and that's what is the best thing to move forward. So again, let me hear your thoughts on this. Answer those questions for me. Tell me, what borough are you in? What's the question you want to ask me? What's the challenge that you're facing right now? Do you believe as well that the mayor should have spent this money and raised and extended your congestion charges? Do you think that he should have increased transport fares, especially for children and the elderly, while also bankrupting the TfL twice? Do you think he should have gone on and paid these six-figure bonuses and approved first-class travel and luxury coffee machines? Also, do you think it was right for the police to detain us? And do you think it was politically motivated? And lastly, do you think that free and fair elections should take place on May 6th, and why? I want to hear from you right now. And again, going to these comments here, incredible stuff here. I've got the Journey Greatest on Instagram saying simply, quote, Brian Rose can say what Sadiq can't. I see what you did there. That's really good. Brian Rose can say what Sadiq can't. Very good. I appreciate that. And that's true. I don't have a party I have to check with. I don't have corporate donors. The best ideas win. I don't care if they come from Labor, Conservatives, Lib Dem. I just want the best ideas to help us as citizens. I love this city. I've spent 21 years of my life here. My children were born here. I've been a citizen in Britain for 14 years, and I plan to be buried in this great, great city. And I can't sit by and watch this current crop of politicians run this beautiful place into the ground. And if it's not me, you're going to get 3 more years of Sadiq Khan. I'm the only chance we have for new ideas and new leadership, and I appreciate you. Some more things coming in through here. I've got TB17 on Instagram saying, quote, about time someone stood up for the people of London with the correct intentions. Thank you very much. And again, I'm trying to be really transparent here. I'm streaming live to you 3-4 times a day with my vlogs and these pieces. I'm answering your questions. So I want to be transparent. I want us to talk about the best ideas. This is unlike anything you've ever seen in politics. The more I learn about politics, the more I don't like it, which is why I'm trying to change it. I've got Amy Louise on Instagram said, I saw you at Tower Bridge today. You were right. We were taking the bus right across Tower Bridge. So I appreciate you, Amy. So many people see us out there honking their horns, waving their hands. I'm telling you, we have real support from real people on the streets. They feel us, they feel our ideas, they feel our energy, and they know that we can take London in a new direction, and we really appreciate you for that. I've got Sophia Matthew on Instagram saying, what time are you coming to Enfield? I would like to speak to you, and my husband is a tube driver. He would like to speak to you too. I would love to speak to both of you. I work in a school and would like to know about your thoughts on education. Thank you, Sophia. Check our schedule. It's on Instagram, but I think we're in Enfield next week, midweek. I look forward to coming up there and talking to you, and I would love to talk to your husband about the tube. You know, when I talk to real people inside these networks, they always tell me what's really going on. They always usually tell me that the mayor says one thing to the public and there's another thing actually being practiced, and they usually have great ideas and we can find the solutions. A solution that's not politically motivated. That's what we want. I'm tired of these agendas, these backroom deals, these corporate politicians with their careers and their agendas. It's not needed and it's not fair to us, the citizens. So thank you, Sophia. I appreciate you. I've got Oliver Ray on YouTube that says, quote, what are your plans for getting people to return back to the city after the pandemic, given the population drop over the past 12 months as people have left even temporarily? Oliver, it's a great question. My single most important policy is get London back to work, period. That's what we have to do. The reason this city is here is because of commerce. We need people back here doing business. You can't separate the economy from the people, and that's what I want to do. I want to do that with a congestion charge holiday. No charges for 6 months. Let's get people to come into this city physically to spend money. Let's also do a business rates holiday. Let's allow all those businesses out there, from the cafes to the restaurants to the theaters, everybody, to not pay tax. That way they can hire people, put on shows, So open up their restaurants and get people back in business. We've got to kickstart the economy. I have had so many people on my show, London Real, talking about this. I've had top-level entrepreneurs, small business people, SMEs. I've had people in the theaters. I've had people in the tourism business, and they all said, Brian, we can safely work right now, but the government won't let us. I want to find a way to get us safely back to work, and that's going to be my big priority here. A couple other points in here. One of the questions from my website, I've got Sylvia in Hammersmith and Fulham that says, quote, "Hi, Brian. How would you advise normal people like me to support you in your campaign in the next few months? I've signed up to your newsletter and offered to volunteer, but I've heard nothing so far. Thanks you for all you're doing. Keep going." Sylvia, I've got great news for you. Next week, we're kicking off our volunteer campaign. You can be part of the Brian for Mayor Army. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We've got an incredible group of people here, and we're going to mobilize the 9 million citizens of London, and we are going to win this race for mayor. So like you said, go to brianformayor.london/volunteer. Give us your email, give us your postcode. While you're there, go down to the sharing section and share our videos, our posts, our pictures, and also download and print out our posters. Stick them in your window, stick them on your car. That's how you can help us. Share this video on Instagram. Demand the debate happens. Rose Khan, the debate, demand it. Go to his social media and ask him, what are you scared of, Mr. Mayor? What are you hiding from? Why won't you debate Brian Rose? That's the question to ask him. Why won't you debate Brian Rose? He's the only credible opponent. Why won't you debate him? It's a good question. So Sylvia, thank you so much. Another question from our website. We got Nasha in Waltham Forest that asks, quote, "I struggle with getting fast internet and broadband as I have to work from home with a family of 5 people. Will you help us with your digital first scheme to help us so we can work from home better?" It's a great question, and what she's referring to is one of my 12 policies, which you can go see on my website right now, brianformayor.london, and it's digital first. And again, each of the 12 pages has a policy and has a video from me explaining it to me. And digital first means simply this: free broadband for every citizen in this city. It sounds simple, but it's not, because people like Nasha, they struggle by not having that basic human right, which is your right to information. Think about it. You're exercising that right now by listening and watching me. Imagine if you didn't have the broadband to do that. It wouldn't be fair. It's not even free for fair elections to have that, or fair for free elections to have that. So, Sylvia, that's one of my big things. Digital first. There's other components, but the big one is free internet for all people. The problem is a lot of our lower income families just don't have access, and we've got to get it to them, especially when their children are at home and trying to learn remotely. And again, I'm putting education first. We got to find a way to get our kids back in school and save what they're calling our lost generation, or Generation COVID. So I appreciate that. One more question. I've got David in Richmond that says, "Who are you and what is your background?" Quote, a question mark, politics, question mark. And I love these questions. Again, ask me hard questions. I don't even review these before I read them out live. And David has a great question. First of all, I have no background in politics. None. I've never been part of one of these parties. I've never run for office before. I've spent the last 30 years in business, in automotive, in aerospace, in finance, in tech startup. I've been in new media, and I've been in digital education. I bring a wealth of business experience to this. To be honest, this is the last thing I wanted to do, was to go into politics, and the more I learn about politics, the more it makes me a bit sick. But I couldn't sit by and watch this crop of politicians run our city into the ground, and if I don't do this, no one else will beat Sadiq Khan. That's the truth. And you get 3 more years of bankrupt TfL, no affordable housing, knife crime on the streets, and an economy that is just dead and buried. So that's why I'm running, and that's what I'm about. My background, you can learn more about me on brianformayor.london. Let me make my last point. Again, please leave your questions here. Share this video with someone who needs it, and go to my website, brianformayor.london/share, and share these assets out. Go to the mayor and ask him, why won't you debate Brian Rose? It's a simple question, but one that's probably difficult for him to answer. So lastly, I want to talk about what I spoke earlier and how the mayor is currently wasting your taxpayer money. And if we look into what he spends on transport, first of all, TfL has gone bankrupt nearly twice in the past 12 months. He's going to ask for another chunk of money from the national government in the next month or two. Just wait, it's coming in March. And at the same time, recently an article came out that he said that he increased the TfL boss's pay by £10 million. Imagine that. You increase the boss's pay by £10 million while it struggles. Also, The number of people earning over £100,000 in TFL is now 557 people. Imagine that. Think how much money that is. 557 people earning over £100,000 while the rest of the city struggles, why our TFL is going bankrupt. Something seems wrong with that. That bill for those six-figure salaries has now increased by £73 million while the mayor has been in office. Also, TFL bonuses. He awarded £12 million in bonuses during the lockdown. I think this is the wrong time for bonuses. And also, he increased the pension funds, gold-plated pensions, by £828 million. That's a lot of money. Imagine what that could do for our mental health. What could that do for our education? What could that do for the infrastructure of London? I don't think it should be spent there. And also, he signed off on luxury flights, first-class travel, £42 million in vending machines and water coolers and taxi rides. I just don't think that's what he should be spending our money on. But tell me if you disagree, leave me a comment below. And it goes on. He spent £1 million this year on his own personal PR. What could that have done for our mental health as well? And he spent £1.5 million on that New Year's Eve display that was basically a political campaign that was funded by you, the taxpayer. Do you think your money should have been spent for basically his political campaign on New Year's Eve? Let me know what you think in the comments below. So again, want to go back and finally answer these questions for me. Tell me what borough you're in. What question do you want to ask me? What challenge are you facing? Do you think the mayor should have wasted the money here and raised and extended our congestion charges, also increased transport fares and bankrupted the TFL nearly twice, while also paying these six-figure bonuses? Do you think it was right for the police to detain us, to fine us, and also ban us from campaigning? And is this politically motivated? Do you think that free and fair elections should be allowed to take place on May 6th, and why? And finally, do you think we need new leadership, new vision, and to take London in a new direction? I want to go to your questions for the last time. There's amazing ones coming in, and I just want to say I really appreciate everybody. You know, we are working 24/7 lately, me and the whole team, and I want to give my team a big shout out and thank you. They work so hard because they see a city that makes them sad. They see a city that is failing us. They see a mayor that is failing us, and they want to work because they know this city could be so much better. And so thank you for being here. Please share this video with someone who needs to see it. Please leave me a comment. And again, ask the mayor, why won't he debate me? Just ask him, why won't you debate Brian Rose? I don't understand. And that's what I want to know too. So the last few comments, we got Blue Sky on Instagram saying, quote, "You're going to make a great mayor, brother. Hashtag Brian for mayor." Thank you so much. I've got Hardik on Instagram saying, quote, "Not just London, the world needs you." Thank you so much. I think we can use these ideas in every city around the world. We got Nathan Peter on Instagram says, quote, "How do we vote for you, Brian?" Great question, Nathan. Go to votefirst.london if you're not registered to vote. It takes 5 minutes, 300 seconds. You can quickly get your registration. You'll get a letter in the post, and on May 6th, you can vote for me to be your next mayor. We have to do this together. Yes, we are facing a quote-unquote rigged system, but I know we can win. I know we can, and we will show them what an independent voice can say. I got Good Vibes Only on Instagram, love the name, by the way, who says, quote, "I am voting for you, Brian, and make sure all my family and friends do so too." Thank you so much. And again, speak to your friends and family about us and our campaign and our ideas. It's so important. We got Martin Sitsis on Instagram saying, quote, "Waltham Forest behind you and your decisions." Martin, I appreciate you. That makes me so happy. We went through Waltham Forest yesterday. Great place, great neighborhood, and we appreciate you very much. I got Dom on Instagram saying, quote, "Are you going to prioritize opening gyms?" Great question, Dom. You know, a lot of people don't know that gyms are only responsible for 1.7% of COVID transmissions. That's according to Public Health England's own data. And we all saw what happened up in Merseyside over the last few months. Our friend Nick Whitcomb fought back when he had 8 armed police officers come to his gym and shut it down. And he said, there's something wrong here. Gyms are important for our physical health, for our mental health. And he got 600,000 signatures on his petition. He got heard in front of Parliament, and they allow gyms to reopen in Tier 3. Nick is now our special advisor on physical health and well-being, and we love having a member of the team on that fights back. So yes, gyms are so important. I miss my gym. I'm training in my stairwells. I'm running outside. I'm doing burpees in Shoreditch Park. People saw me there last night. I'm finding a way, but we need to open our gym. So I appreciate you. I've got London Health Exercise Coach saying, let's get the gyms open. Gyms build health. Lockdown destroys health. I agree with you. I got Charlie 4747 says, what's the first change you would make as mayor of London? Let's get London back to work. Let's find a way to make this happen. Let's find innovations, solutions. London, over the past 2,000 years, has solved problems. That's what we're good at. That's why we're such a great city. Why can't we solve this problem? I don't see the mayor doing that. I see him using fear as a weapon. I don't see him saying, why can't we find a way? So I want to find a way to safely get London back to work, protect those that are elderly, protect those vulnerable, but find solutions and ask hard questions. We got Wimbo that says, I think you're courageous and well done. A few more here. I got DJ Kels on Instagram saying simply, the current mayor is scared. Interesting. Maybe he's scared to debate me. Maybe he's scared because we're actually having an open and honest discussion. It's a good question. Maybe that's why we got the police following us. And again, I want to say, I respect the police. They have an incredible, difficult job, and I want to support the police with more training, more police on the streets. But I think this is politically motivated, and I think you probably agree with me. A couple more here. Trey on Instagram says, quote, you the man. Good luck, sir. You're going to steamroll this guy. I appreciate you. Farrell London, YouTube says, quote, you're our golden ticket, Brian. Our business will close if this carries on. I appreciate you, Farrell. We got to find ways to keep businesses open. They're the lifeblood of this city. They employ people. They create capital. It's so important. And I've got Dulcet Fearson that says, quote, London needs Brian Rose as mayor. Thank you. You just put a smile on my face after a long day. I appreciate you. And we got Level Sports on YouTube that says, quote, Sadiq Khan living like he won the lottery. And that's true. The truth is this. Sadiq Khan knows he's going to get your vote, right? He knows that you're probably going to vote who your parents voted for. And so he's not out here campaigning. He's not trying to solve your problems. He's not trying to open your businesses. He doesn't care if your children go to school. He doesn't care if you suffer from mental health. He doesn't care if your gyms are open. He doesn't care because he knows he's going to get your vote. So he'll keep signing off on policies that don't work, on policies that make you angry. Every single person on the street walks up to me and says, we got to get this guy out of office. Nothing can be worse than him. I support you, Brian. Please go ahead. So we all know what needs to be done, but we've got to get the votes together or we're going to get 3 more years of the current mayor, and no one wants that. Last point here comes from Nazado on Instagram that says, we love you, Brian Rose. Well, I love you guys too. I really do. This whole movement comes out of love. It's because I love this city. This city saved my life. It gave me so much. My 2 sons were born here. It's my home. I'm a citizen of this country, and my business is here. It's always brought me fortune and success, and I feel like I owe this city something. And I can't sit by and watch the place I love, the place I call home, be run into the ground by terrible decisions, poor leadership, lack of science-based decisions, disproportionate response to the virus, no leadership, no innovation, no education, no solutions. It's criminal is what it is. We've got to get a leader that can make hard choices and take us in a new direction. So again, leave me your comments below. Share this video. I appreciate you so much. We're going to need your vote on May 6th, so make sure you're registered. Go to our website, sign up to be a volunteer, share our assets and videos and pictures and posters, download those, print them out all around the web. We're counting on you. We've got to do this collectively as a community. I can't do this on my own, and I don't want to do this on my own. I need you. Let's all become the next mayor of London on May 6th. Let's hold this man accountable. Let's take London in a new direction, and I appreciate you. So tomorrow, I'll be back out on the road. I'll be streaming from here. I'm going to every single borough in London, and we are going to make these changes from the ground up. Again, I appreciate you. Take some action today. Help us. Tell your friends about Brian for Mayor. Tell people about it. We are going to change the city, and I appreciate you. So I will see you next time on Battle Bus Live. I'm Brian Rose, and I'm signing off from the Digital Battle Bus. Thank you.